Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Behind the Lava Lava. It's the usual crew. It's your boy Ati, Johnny, Prez, Michael Tan, and myself, I'm Milford Teofala. And before we really get into anything, let's just check in with the boys. You know, that's something we always talk about, mental health and being strong in that case and being there for our Usos. So let me start off and check in with our man over there in Texas, Ati. How was your week this week, man? How you doing? How you feeling?
Man, same old fellas. Got daddy daycare going on. It's been a struggle to try to get out there on the golf course lately. So,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
the ladies busy with work, and I'm over here doing daddy cake daycare. But it's been good, man. It's been smooth. It's just a blessing, blessing to be here with you guys. Blessing is it's always good when you get to a Sunday. You know what I mean? 1 week is down and we're closer to get to 2024, closer to the holidays. But other than that, it's been a blessing. With my daughter, she just turned 7 months on the 11th. So, didn't do anything particular. Just give her a nice warm bath. And then, just celebrate all those little small stones, So I'm pretty happy. Family's happy over here. And I wish there was like a lot of polys or I would say Pacifica folks out here, but I only got my golf group, so that's who I keep busy with out here in isolated El Paso. But appreciate it. Thanks, fellas.
Hey, happy 7 months to baby. And the way you talk about giving her a warm bath, kind of like, yo, give me a warm bath.
Shoot, I could use one of those right now myself.
Hey, speaking of which, Johnny, how's your week, man? How you doing? How's the family? How you living?
Everybody's good. Ati over here talking about warm bath to 7-month-old. Man, my daughter, the third one, just turned 12 yesterday.
Nice.
12. And
happy birthday.
Oh, man. She's catching up to me in height. She's like to my chin now, and I'm 6'5". So these girls are growing up quick. I remember those days when they're 7 months old. They're all little. You put them down, you turn around and look back. They're still there. No, the kids are getting older. But yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been a good week. We recently had me and Michael went down to the Tongan festival that they had out here in Salt Lake. And we had the opportunity to watch the Youth Rugby League Union, the
junior Utah Junior Rugby League.
Yeah, Utah Junior Rugby League, which was two of the girls' teams that was sponsored by yours truly, Behind the Lava Lava and Matai Watches. And so it was really neat. It was the first event. It was set up by one Eugene Tukumoyatu. We had him on the podcast earlier, or the business spotlight for the same league. And the game was, to me, it was a resounding success. It was a Samoa versus Tonga game. It was a pride game. And even though it was a Tongan festival, there was a gang of Samoans that showed up to watch this game. And everybody had, there was little pockets everywhere. And every time, the girls scored, the Samoan girls scored, a bunch of little kids with the Samoan flag would run out in the field and everybody be cheering. And then when the Tonga girls scored, and then all these other little kids running around waving the Tonga flag, and you hear Mate Matai everywhere. But it was really nice. And then the boys' event was even more live. The game was great. So it was overall, it was a resounding success, in my opinion. I thought that game was amazing. The turnout was good. And for a lot of these kids, it's an opportunity to showcase their talents and maybe pick up some scouts because they're getting scholarships to play rugby now in the States. And for a lot of these, it was a U18 game. So a lot of these girls and boys, it was like their last little hurrah, because the season ended for sevens with the big NAI tournament that finished last month. So, I mean, it was good. The event was good. And it was just another opportunity for us to go out there and network and and spend some time with the community. So, I mean, but it's hot here in Utah, so sitting out there all day, just getting sweated on, and it wasn't that fun. That part wasn't fun. Food was good though.
That's good. So a big part of opportunity is exposure, and it's awesome that these events are being put on and we're getting eyes on our young Polynesian talent out here, especially for that sport, and expanding it. But 12 years old for your youngest. For those of you who don't know, Johnny's got beautiful locks. That's men's hair when it's grown out. My goodness. But he's got nothing but teenage girls at home now, so we'll see how long that lasts.
No, my youngest is 9. She was my third.
Oh,
my third just turned 12. My oldest is 15.
Either way, 9's right around the corner from 12, and you got a house full of. They're smarter than you.
I got a house full of emotions.
Yeah, that too.
It's great though, man.
Those beautiful locks last. I'll take a sample if they fall out.
Restarting them, so we'll see how it goes. I'll be balding. Just keep the back.
Then we'll go ahead and kick it over to Prez. I know Michael Tan stays busy. For our viewers, I know you see a lot of the reels and clips he puts out. He's always on the move, always trying to not just grow behind the lava, but he's always trying to also help put exposure on other businesses from our people of the Pacific. So how you feeling, Michael? Tired?
Yeah, I would say the last 2 weeks has been very hectic, especially for us, me and Johnny, being out in the community. Just a week before, we were out at the Utah Pacific Island Heritage Festival. We were out there promoting our brands, the podcast and Matai watches, selling watches. And we were also there to try to teach the community about the islands of American Samoa and Samoa, because for those who don't know, there are 2 Samoas, one that is independent and one that is technically under the territory of the United States of America. So we were out there, we had fun, we enjoyed it, we had a lot of good food. Man, I think these 2 Saturdays I ate a lot of lamb curry, a lot of musupis and manapuas, some
Don't forget the old Thai,
Yeah,
old
the
Thais
old
of
Thais.
all variations.
In a while.
Yeah, and I was in a rush to try to push the 2 episodes. The first episode was for Mariko, trying to push it up before the announcement of the Decepticons for the music awards. So I was trying to get more promotion on it. And the second episode I was trying to push out was for the Mana initiative, a day of Polynesia that was held in Colorado. But I heard that they were successful this weekend. Congrats on Decepticons for winning. I believe they won 2 or 3 awards from the Pacific Music Festival Awards. But I was very busy also with trying to pump out the Utah Pacific Islander Chamber stuff, trying to get some logistic portion. But yeah, family's doing good. Wife's trying to mimic my dad's cooking ever since he's left. So yeah, we've been eating good.
Nice.
Stop by for dinner now.
Should be an expert by now.
Judging going on.
I'm gonna go critique Sam's cooking. She's gonna beat me up.
Good. Oh, well, that's good. Everybody's doing good in our check-in. Myself, family's doing good. We got school about to start. Other than that, this week has been, pretty rough, especially for the people of Maui. I'm an Oahu kid, but my heart hurts for watching. Those are our people suffering and going through all that. Donated money and whatnot to different causes, but there's nothing like feeling powerless and wanting to help people, but you can only do so much. So our thoughts and hopes and prayers are with them, and we love them. But other than that, before we get into today's episode, Let me just mention that today's episode is sponsored by Matai watches. You know what time it is. It's time to celebrate our people, our culture, our heritage, our pride. Do so by getting yourself one of these classic timepieces at behindthelavaLava.merch.com. All right, getting into today's episode. I don't know why, but they assigned the most Fia Palangi guy to bring this topic up. And we're going to talk about if something were to happen to you today, God forbid, to Fa'alavelave or not to Fa'alavelave. There's a lot of debate around this topic, and I know a little bit, but I'm pretty much clueless on the topic. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Johnny. What are your thoughts? What are you going to do?
Oh man, I'm going full blown. No. Okay, so my opinion on Fa'alavelave is that I believe it is a necessary evil. I believe in spirit, the Fa'alavelave is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful act of love that, whether it's now with Fa'alavelave, it can either be some sort of ceremonial practice to commemorate an event. You know what I mean? Not necessarily. It doesn't. I know when Fa'alavelave gets brought up, everybody thinks either funerals or weddings because those are the two biggest big ticket items that Fa'alavelave are involved and ceremonies are involved. I know there's other major events like the Sofa'is and for the Ava ceremony for getting a title or anything of the sort. But the two biggest ones that everybody complains about is funerals and weddings because everyone knows in the Samoan community, when there is a Fa'alavelave, usually your family comes together and brings together a certain amount of money. That amount is determined by either your Matai or whoever is leading your family as a whole, and then everybody has to divvy up a certain portion. And I know a lot of families tend to lean towards their relatives that live in the States. And that's where usually the issue comes because every time there's always this little event. Hey, I'm going to need a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there, a couple thousand here, a couple thousand there. Gone are the days of gongas and suas. Now it's all money. But for me, if anything were to happen to me, realistically, I would like a simple Fa'alavelave. Kind of like how my dad's funeral was. It was we honored the traditions still, but we made it as simple as possible. And one of the things that they did was when people show up at your house and they bring over their CEs and then all of these EAs are passed back and forth and stuff like that. What ended up happening was we just changed it all into money and gave it back to people. But the majority of the funeral expenses and stuff were handled by my mom and us, the siblings, and kind of like immediate family. And everything else, all the CEs were handled by my dad's families and stuff, where they were the ones that were handling all of the monetary gifts and then giving them right back. Because it was, my dad was one of those people he was involved in all of it. Since I was a kid, people would call, hey, so-and-so this, funeral, wedding, and then my dad would get money. And even if we didn't have it, he would send it. 150 here, 250 there, 300, 600,000. And it was always like that. And he did it forever. Even to this day, after he's gone, my mom still shows up to all of these Fa'alavelave that he's responsible for on his behalf. And she still gives and gives and gives. Because to my dad, it was always... The word is tautua, service out of love. And when you do it out of love, people remember. So for me, if God forbid anything were to happen to me today, I would want, now for one, Ray Keller, I do have it through my work. I have life insurance. Okay. And my wife, and I do have written instructions on what happens to the money and stuff like that, just so that if anything were to happen to me, my wife and my kids are taken care of. Those are primary to me. And then all the Fa'alavelave stuff can be handled by if my mom or the Matai for the Su'alawais is still alive, then I'll have them handle the Samoan side, but keep it as simple as possible. No big nothing. I want to hold true to the spirit of Fa'alavelave, that you come and you showcase love. You don't need to bring anything to the table to show love. At the same time, I don't want to put burden on my wife and my children and my siblings. So that's just me. It's kind of like a hybrid version, but not so much so. And then plus I'm LDS, so I don't know. There's not going to be too many Faifi hours, even though all of my uncles are Faifi hours on my dad's side. I think there's at least 4 of them with their own ministries. But that's just, I mean, that's my opinion. That's how I would do it. And but that would be left up to whoever's running the show, because if anything happens to me, I'm gone. So can't really complain.
Way you put that. Especially not just coming out, right out the gate and bashing it. The way you put it sounds very logical, especially for a guy like me who doesn't know what's going on.
I know your dad knows a lot, and I'm pretty sure you have a lot of uncles and stuff that are very familiar with it. But I mean, it doesn't have to be. I know that as times change, right, we evolve with the times. I know Samoa is beginning to evolve with the times, because back then it wasn't all cash. There was cash involved, but it was mostly the iekongas. You had these bundles and bundles of iekongas, like hundreds and hundreds of stacks of iekongas. And now I barely see one roll from the entire group. But then when the cash starts flowing in from, this family brought, now it's thousands. Here's 4,000 from this family because, they gave 4,000. Well, we gave 5,000. It's like a show off thing. Who can outdo the other?
And after you show off with your money that you borrow from your loans, then you get hit with reality that you have to pay all that money back, and now your family is struggling.
Yeah. Well, so we have that from Johnny Ati. God forbid something happens to you. What are your thoughts on the matter? Would you want to Fa'alavelave or not?
Not. Hey, so, our culture is very complex. There's a lot of different little moving areas when it comes to Fa'alavelave. And, Johnny hit it right on the nail. Fa'alavelave doesn't have to be a specific event. It could be funerals, it could be birthdays, it could be celebrating somebody's Saufa'i. And just to, I know for our non-Samoan speakers, so Saufa'i is, it's a ceremony for when somebody is bestowed upon a high talking chief or a Matai title. So this is a big event where somebody gets bestowed a big name. Yeah, this is the ceremony, which also involves a lot of the ava, involves a lot of the moving parts in the village, so to speak. You have the reverend in the village. You also have the small matais, the big matais, and then also involves the youth in this big event, also called the Aumanga. And the Aumanga is also led by another Matai, so it just depends on how a village in Samoa, how they set up there, but everything is all the same. And then when you're also talking about ies, kongas, that's pretty much our form of currency from back in the day. So that form of currency nowadays has turned into those Washingtons that we so see a lot of the families competing by, hey, we bought Limas Fulu $50,000, and then this family comes on top of this family or 60,000. And then at the end of the day, like what Tan said, now face hate with reality, and now you got to pay all those loans and all those money back. But Fa'alavelave was just so simple. It was just before we moved to the States or before we started moving, out here, it was just a simple act of helping the family that's in need. And it could be just, it didn't even have to be money. It was just, we brought foods, sometimes in the old folks, they would just bring iya, fish, just to show their love, just to show and their appreciation for that family, and just to share the burden of whatever that family was going through. So that was kind of like the whole idea behind Fa'alavelave from our back in the day. For me, it's simple. I would I would I would love for nothing else to happen than just my whole concept is I don't want to fucking ainga. I don't want to put a burden onto the extended families. If anything, I would prefer private. Just my siblings there, and then their siblings, their kids, their children, to be at the funeral, and that's it. But the reality is, Fasa Mo is always going to be there. I've been to so many Fa'alaves where we're trying to incorporate a lot of the Fa'apalangi, so to speak. But at the end of the day, it's always going to be good. It goes back to Fasa Mo because the Matai system exists. And the Matai system comes with a lot of customary stuff that we have to go through, i.e., if a Faifeau or a Paakele in the village attends the funeral or whatever Fa'alavelave there is, a Matai they're always going to step up and do the Fasa Moa to respect that. They're never going to ignore the high. There's ranks. Like in the military, we have rank system. In Samoa, those are ranks. So it's always going to go back to Fasa Moa. And I've been in so many Fa'alaves where, oh man, the family is trying to keep it simple. And then at the end of the day, all the kongas and all the EAs are all involved. But for me, I would love to keep it simple. I'm in the same boat. Life insurance is there. I don't want to, put a burden on the extended family or, other families. But, it's customary in our culture that any stuff like that happens, families will come out and support via money. And then that's where the competition happens, nowadays, and it's true, we've gone are the days of the Fusikonga. Now we're doing with fine mats. And, in different levels of our culture, of our society in Samoa, may it be in the small unit of family and then extend it out to the community and then to government. Samoa is always going to be there. So despite how we try to make it simple, just try to make it private. Well, it also depends too if your family has a big name. So you can't run away from those simple, Fa'alaves. But at the end of the day, I would want my Fa'avelave to be simple and, just involve my immediate family, i.e. my siblings, their kids, and that's about it. And then, if my friends are also there, they're more than welcome to come. But other than that, I prefer private.
I'll be there. Cut off one of my dreadlocks and throw it in the... Go,
man.
My friend. Go.
And it is, it's going to be in my will behind the lava, folks, man. The door is always open. I appreciate it, man.
Okay, Raku.
Yes.
Ole fua.
And vice versa.
Well said. I like the simplicity. I'm along those same lines. Mr. Michael Tan, my fellow Samoanese brother. What are your thoughts on the matter?
Oh, he going full Chinese. It's going to be a Chinese funeral.
So let me start off with saying that I love our Samoan culture and I love our people. But I wouldn't want the practice of Fasa Mo in my funeral, mainly because I am a very simple guy. I want my funeral to be simple, whether it be a burial or cremation. Those are the two ways that I prefer. Whatever is easier for my wife and my kids to put me on the ground, I'll go with that method. Recent events that happened to my brother has caused me to kind of increase my dislike for the Matai system, mainly because of the potential of abuse that comes with it. It's just like anything else. But yeah, my family growing up, and I'm talking about my immediate family, we've never practiced the Samoan cultural traditions like the Fa'alavelave. We practice the Fa Samoa, but not the traditions. So there's a big difference on those two, especially when it comes to Fa'alavelave. We stayed away from that when it comes inside the family. But when it outside of it, we we're welcome to serve other Fa'avelave, because I've been to a lot of Fa'avelave, the neighbors, the schools, churches, and all that stuff. But we've never really done it for ourselves. So my mom was religious. She never practiced any of that Samoan. I'm trying to find the right word for it because I don't want people to mistaken, culture and what we actually practice. So my mom was religious. We never practiced that at home. She stayed away from it because she had her own preference. She probably didn't like people coming to us asking for money and all that stuff in regards to Fa'alavelave. But for me, growing up, I never practiced it within our household. I'm not going to enforce it when I leave this world. So it's very simple. If anything, I always joke to my wife, just take me to China. Take me to China. Take me to where the monks are. They have aerial burials where they chop you into pieces and throw you to the vultures, and the vultures
sprinkle
come
you.
Vultures
the
come
rice
and
paddies.
eat you. Yeah. Very
to nurture
simple.
for the next generation.
Yeah.
Next crop cycle.
The circle of life.
Where Panda Express picks their meat up from.
Call that to go.
Yeah, very simple.
Special.
That's a good picture.
Nice.
It brings up a good point because I was talking to, because I was looking up, and I was talking to my mom about this, because like how in American Samoa, you can't own land. The land is owned by clans and major families. It's not owned by the U.S. government, minus a couple of plots, where the government buildings are at. But it brings up a good point because the Fa Samoa is, for the Anganu is. It should be synonymous between both Samoas, even though some villages and different clans have certain nuances that are a little bit more intricate. But the Fa Samoa as a whole is usually there's a general Fa Samoa, but in American Samoa, if you want to have land, you usually have to be attached to one of these clans that own these areas. So the Fa Samoa is nice when you're for the haves, but the have-nots usually end up at the bottom of the totem pole and usually are having a harder time. A lot of the overstayers, a lot of people that come in from Western Samoa that have no blood ties to these lands, and they stay because they come to American Samoa on the hopes that their kids can benefit from the American side, because the infrastructure is a little bit more better, I guess. But, these overstayers are stuck trying to build a life on something that they don't have any ties to unless they marry into someone with family that has, land. So a lot of them usually end up renting from different apartments or houses or different properties, and they pay all of this monies go to these Matais, and their only viability is that they were born correctly in that area. So, it does tend to be a little difficult and it does turn into like a caste system between the haves and the have-nots, pertaining to American Samoa. Now, at the same time, there's quite a few people that I know that came over from Western Samoa, and they came over and they hustled and they worked their butt off, and they made a life for themselves, and now they're well off. Shout out Tonka Men. The opportunity is still there, but when it doesn't pan out, you end up in that kind of situation where you're just getting used. And that's, I use that term loosely because, in Michael's situation, it's one of those where his mom's family ties are in Western Samoa, and, his dad is in American Samoa, and he's Chinese. So it's kind of like, it's it's hard to progress unless you go out and away, or you start a business and make money. So, I mean, yeah, it can be. That could be the ugly side. And there are a few of those Matais out there that are crooked. I mean, what place doesn't have them? There is a lot of corruption. I ain't going to point no fingers, allegedly. There's quite a few corruption. You can see it every day. A lot of us are not stupid, especially when you've seen enough stuff in your life. So, I mean, it's there. I'm not going to pretend that it's not.
Yeah, and that's another factor that contributed to us not practicing a lot of the Samoan traditions, is because we had no roots in American Samoa. If we had our own family Matai, that would be a different story. Mm-hmm. But our Matais are back in Savai. So that is one of the factors that made us the have-nots. It made things difficult for us. We had to rely on the support of the Matais within the village. Even when they asked, after the incident, they asked us what Matai are we under. They couldn't do anything because the village, the consequences can only be put on the Matais within the village. You can't go punish the Matais from other places. There's no effect. But yeah, and Johnny, be careful how you use the word overstayer. Huh? That's you're kinda, yeah.
Sorry.
So, permanent residents.
That's what I said. Permanent residents.
Green card.
No, I mean, because, there are proper avenues. Let's just call it what it is. There's avenues. There are visas. There's proper ways and proper channels to go through. And there are people who decide, or for whatever reason, don't use those channels. And so I use the term loosely. And if I offend you, I apologize. But like I said, there are proper channels to use.
He doesn't really.
And apologize. I know Mr. Tan is just fine. All right. The homeboy is Mr. Tan. I like your lumpias. Those things are amazing. Missed that dude. He already went back. And I'm like, come back.
Man,
just one more meal.
I'm all the way down here in Texas, man. If I was up there, man, I'd be knocking on your door 24/7.
You're going to have a picture of you. No Atis allowed at the front door.
Man, I ain't going to keep me awake. No, I was trying to say that a Fa'alavelave could be simple if the Matais, whoever that's running it, it's a good Matai. Because, there are other Matais out there that demand, and that demand causes a lot of the issues that we have. Matais, for simple Fa'alavelave, like small events, and there's Matais out there that's demanding $500. Like, come on, dude. Like, you got to understand your family. You got to understand the poverty level within your own clan. Like, if you're going to demand $500 and majority of your clan don't work good jobs and don't have good jobs, then why the hell are you demanding $500, $400, $300? Like, stuff like that. That's where a lot of the, that devious, not I wouldn't say devious, but I want to say like they feel white. A lot of the families don't want to participate, i.e. Tan, I don't really know the situation, but, there are a lot of families in American Samoa that they go against a lot of the Matais. They don't want to participate in a lot of these family functions because Matai is demanding X amount of money. And dude, like, how are we going to pay for the food for the next week, and how are we going to pay for, if God forbid your kids are going to a private school, like I know majority of, kids down there are going to public schools, but, for the families that do decide to not take their, like the situation, so when there's a demand from the Matais, the Fa'alavelave is going to get, they want to make it, like turn it into a big event. But at the end of the day, and this is the honest truth, at the end of the day, that Matai is looking for something. And what do you call when you're putting in for something? It's called kusanga. And that's what time you were trying to you were alluding to, so to speak. When a Matai is demanding a kusanga, i.e., monetary, whatever, that's where the issues arise, and it's sad, but it's the honest truth. At the end of the day, wherever that Matai is trying to get something, because the Matais, you know, they get lafos, and lafos are, if they're these are lafos from like wherever the family that's coming to bring the alofa or whatever, and they were like, hey, yeah, lo keokusi la, and then the keokusi has like $500 in there, and then he pockets that money, and then doesn't share it with the whole family, because the concept is, if you get a good Matai, like a lot of my uncles that I know of, when they get their alofas, they go back and they have their talk, and then he spreads it out to spread it back to the family. But a Matai that just gets his lawful, I mean, of course that's for him, but a good Matai will always take care of the family, at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, this is a support system. This is where the help is coming from. So it could go both ways. But as far as like families are coming to American Samoa, as a gateway to better opportunities, and people are taking advantage of them because of their status, and that's a no-go in my book. And it's sad if that's happening to a lot of our families in American Samoa, and vice versa with Western Samoa. But that's sad, and there's got to be another way to handle those situations. I mean, I don't have thoughts on it right now, but it's just sad to say whatever happened to your family, man, I apologize, but it's just sad all around, just considering the whole situation of the thing. So yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, I like my mom's Matai. Homeboy is flat rate, regardless of what the Fa'alavelave is. Every family, $50. That's it, flat rate. Yeah. And then that's it. He shows up, and these are the families under me, under my constituents, and here's our offering, $250. That's it. And then it comes back to me. I go back to the families. All right, here's your $50 back, and call it good. Yeah. It's just flat rate, but the love is still there. We still show up. Nice. And if it's your own stuff, you handle the bulk of it, but it'll always be $50. So, I mean, that's one way to do it. And yeah, it just depends. You're right. You brought up a good point. Name,
yeah,
because if you're one of those big clans, you're expected to show a good amount. There's an expectation that comes with the name. So they try to put out, and yeah, there's a lot of tendencies for it to get real messy, and. I've had like one of my uncles, really good. He's a pastor, and he said there are times where he just kind of sneaks into Fa'alavelave, the really important ones that he wants to be a part of, and he'll sneak in there, and try to stay in the back, try to stay hidden, because as soon as they find out he's a Fa'alavelave, they're like,
lawful.
Oh, wait, Malea. And you'll see him too. Like he'll be. I'll walk in. I'm like, hey, what's up, Uncle? They would just sit by the door.
Yeah.
Somebody would spot him, and then they'll see it, and then he'll kind of just put his head down. And he's like, dang. And then somebody will be like,
the funny thing is, he can't deny it.
And he can't deny it.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, come sit at the head table. Yeah. And he sits up there, and then and then he gets something back just because he's a Fa'alavelave. But to him, he actually cared about that person. He wanted to show the funeral, or show up to a wedding or whatever the sort.
And by flexing that money, you got a big smile. And speaking of big smiles, Ati, you had something to mention.
All right,
working on those smiles.
All right, fellas. So at Mill Creek Advanced Dental in Salt Lake City, Utah, patients receive top-notch dental care tailored to their individual needs and desires. The clinic prides itself on offering a wide scope of dental services, ensuring that every patient's requirements are met. The staff at Mill Creek Advanced Dental is renowned for their warm and compassionate approach, providing exceptional service to each individual who walks through their doors. Patients can rest assured that their comfort and well-being are top priorities at this dental practice. Heading the team is Dr. Stephen J. Oblat, a dedicated military veteran whose passion for dentistry began during his junior year in high school. With a strong educational background, including undergraduate degrees in biology and business from the University of Utah and a doctor of medicine in dentistry from the Medical University of South Carolina, Dr. Oblad brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to the practice. Throughout his years of practice in the U.S. Air Force and beyond, Dr. Oblad has continually pursued learning about modern technologies and practices in dentistry. He is dedicated to providing the best treatment for his patients and takes the time to communicate effectively, helping them understand their treatment options and ensuring that the right plan is developed to achieve their dental goals and overall health. Whether patients require routine cleanings, fillings, or more complex procedures, Mill Creek Advanced Dental offers the utmost attention and highest standard of care. The focus is always on ensuring such patient leaves the clinic with a healthy and radiant smile. Patients interested in experiencing the exceptional dental care beyond offered by Dr. Stephen J. Oblad and his team at Mill Creek Advanced Dental in Salt Lake City, Utah, are encouraged to schedule their exams, cleanings, treatment, or dental emergencies by reaching out today. The team is all about serving patients and their families with all their dental care.
All right. Shout out Mill Creek Advanced Dental. Shout out Dr. Oblad. Thank you for your sponsorship. Welcome back, everybody. Today's topic, something were to happen to you today, God forbid, to Fa'alavelave or not to Fa'alavelave. And so far on the scoreboard, we got Johnny and Ati who would just keep it simple, stay with, tradition a little bit, nothing too flashy. Let's just do what it's meant to do. And then we got Michael Tan representing for China. He's not going to do it. He ain't going to do anything. He's not going to go along those lines so much. And then you got me. Both my parents are from Western. My mom's from the same village as Tan's mom over there in Savai'i. And then my dad's from Upolu. And they're very knowledgeable on tradition. All the stuff they've handled without, as much as letting myself and my brothers know what was going on. They would bring us somewhere, they handle business, or they won't, they leave us at home and they go and handle business, nothing too much. And with that being said, they also came to a point where they didn't exactly leave it behind, but they would put God first, or the practices of the religion before the politics of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Because like Johnny said, which I love, this stemmed from love, pretty much paraphrasing what he said, but these things came from love. And any beautiful thing, a person can twist it to his own selfish desires and make it seem like something ugly and twist that perspective for others involved. So with that being said, unless I die before my parents do, I don't think anyone would really arrange any type of Fa'alavelave for myself and my passing, because most of my parents' siblings as well live in New Zealand or Australia or back in the motherland. And that's cool. I want to keep it simple. I don't like being in front of people. Same thing when our brother Bobby died, aside from not being able to make it to his funeral, or just anybody who passes away close to us, I just want to make it a connection to the ones left behind and establish, we're always there for you. We're there for the little ones. We'll handle things, our way in our little circle, whatever you need, I got you. And if, and everything they participate outside of that, that's them. That's cool. But I don't hate it. I don't bash it because I don't understand it. The only time I bash it is when I can see the corruption, like, you guys pointed out, because it takes a dirtbag and no one, it takes one to know one. And I've been the dirtbag and I see it happening. And that's when I start speaking up. I don't care about status or politics or anything. I will get up there and I'll let my voice be known. Can't nobody stop me. Other than that, what are any additional thoughts you guys have on the matter? Anything come up during the last couple minutes that you guys thought of?
I would say this, Fa'alavelave, the good thing, about Fa'alavelave is, everything is good and everything is bad, but to me, ultimately is the simple fact that a lot of the families that you don't get to see or who are, somewhere else in the islands or somewhere else in the mainland or, in New Zealand, Australia, wherever, when the Fa'alavelave happens, a lot of those families are going to be down there. They're going to come support, and you're going to see them. That's one of the good things why I kind of like when Fa'alavelave is happening is because, my long lost cousin that I haven't seen when I was like 4 or 5, now I get to see him, at a Fa'alavelave, that's one of the good things. For me, just like, democracy is still being, there's going to be a point where Fa'alavelave is going, and I think there's a point now that it's happening where the truest form of Fa'alavelave to me is like, for example, I think recently there was I think it was in LA or I think it was in Seattle. It was on Facebook, and I kind of read it. There was a hospital that was going out, and I don't know if you guys seen this, but there was a guy, a Samoan guy, that was he showed up to a hospital. I think he was delirious, or I don't know what his situation was, but the hospital put out a news story saying that they don't know who this guy is. And then, that news received a lot of feedback from everybody around, like, Samoans, a lot of different on the comment section, like Alofa, that's a Fa'alavelave in itself. We don't know who this guy is, but there was a lot of outpour of love and support and sharing of this post. So I hopefully wherever that guy is, because the hospital didn't know who his family was or where he was from. So, they got on, which is the good thing about social media. And to me, that's in its truest form. That's a Fa'alavelave. That was somebody that, the hospital was trying to get a hold of the immediate family, and, outpouring of love came through the comment section. I was reading through it. I'm like, wow, this is nice. So to me, that's a simple form of Fa'alavelave. That's what Fa'alavelave is all about. I'm not putting it down, but that to me, that's another form of Fa'alavelave to our listeners, that really wants to understand does Fa'alavelave only mean funeral and salfa'is and, all that stuff. Fa'alavelave, if there's another term, there's another meaning to Fa'alavelave, and I'll say it in a phrase, Fa'alavelave kid'oya means, it also means you're bothering me, so if something is bothering you, that's a Fa'alavelave. So if something is bothering, help out whoever your friend is, whoever your family is, that they have a Fa'alavelave, and doesn't have to be any of the major Fa'alavelves, helping hand. At the end of the day, that's what our culture is, and that's what we are, where we love. And it can go both ways, alofa pipilo or alofa mongi, or whatever it is, but at the end of the day, it's still love. Yeah. Thank you. That's just my 2 cents on that.
Lofa pipilo kere mga oy.
I know, right?
Now, okay, so the reason why I brought this topic up was because of a post where I seen one of the guys. It was a podcast as well, and he was talking about how the Fa'alavelave have become quite burdensome for nowadays. And I know one of the talking points was that it's a lot of us don't have it. A lot of us are struggling to pay bills, and then the kusanga comes up, and then we don't have it. And so it's gotten to a point where we don't want to be involved, don't want to be participant in it, because it's you are not showing love if you don't give that monetary support. And so, but had you the means, say you were pretty well off, had a really stable and had a lot of liquid income, and you were asked, would you still participate in Fa'alavelave? Or would you give more or less, as a stance, whether does the Fa'alavelave being immediate family versus relative, would that dictate how much you give or not give? What do you guys think?
All I know is my money's going to family, those who I know, those who have made an impact in my life, and that it's a small portion. It's a small circle, so it's not going out to a lot of people. So yeah, those who are fortunate enough to be in my circle of family and friends will get that donation from me.
Does that mean me too? Me too? Hmm?
Oh yes,
Aye.
Johnny,
My man.
Johnny, who called me a overstayer.
First off, I said overstayers in general.
Not specific.
Not specific. I didn't say Michael Tan, the overstayer general of all of overstayers out there.
Yeah,
Just
you're on my list, Johnny. Don't worry.
yes.
Am
I
I
just
on
want
your
to
list?
apologize to the viewers for laughing while Johnny was talking, but it was because he was using his Drake voice. The reason why I was.
Okay. So I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm sick. All right, my throat hurts. That's why I sound like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been out in the sun for 2 weekends in a row now. So
I was out in the sun for 2 weeks.
I've been
3 weeks.
eating high C capsules for the last 2 days because I had to work today. And when I woke up this morning and I couldn't swallow, my throat was hurting. Drank NyQuil. Man, just pounding water. I'm trying to get over this because being sick and working is just the worst.
Drag. Yeah.
Well,
It's the
your voice
worst.
sounds very sexy.
To make a good radio host voice.
Oh yeah.
Good baritone. I should be sick more often.
Man, if I was a billionaire, though, the first Samoan billionaire, surely, it's a business. At the end of the day, hey, you want some money? Yeah, I go 2%. Set up every month. Yeah, how much you want? 20,000. Too easy. Let's go. Yeah, contract, everything.
20,000. Too easy. Too easy.
Too easy.
Okay, so let's say it's the Matai that's not, far relation, right? Let's say there's 2 or 3 generations that separate you from this Matai, and it's his daughter's wedding, and the kusanga comes out to the village. Everybody donates set amount. Would you?
Hell no. I mean, no.
Even if you got it, like say you're pretty thick in the pockets, still no?
No. However, though, like I said, that's a business transaction now. But I mean, out of the love of the heart, no ways. I'm not going to do that. And the reason why is because it should be you're the man. You're the man. That's your daughter. You don't have another man pay for your daughter's wedding. Come on.
Okay. Let's say it's your grandma's sister passes away.
That's my grandma's sister.
And let's
she
say
helped take care
you've
of me.
seen this lady like twice your whole life. It's your grandma's sister, but your grandma's sister lives in LA and they brought her back down to Samoa to bury her at home.
Those 2 times that I saw her, she gave me a kiss, gave me a bubble gum. Heck yeah.
Very impactful in your life. Right?
Heck yeah.
Now, would you give more or less, or exactly what they asked?
If you're asking, I'll take care of it, but then I'll go around and take care of other things at the end. Like you ask the money, I'll take care of the money up front, and then of course, my mom always say this: use your brain. Of course, you won't take care of what they want, but then I'll find other ways to take care of everything else on the sidelines without them knowing. I have means, and if I'm the billionaire, heck yeah, I'll take care of all the other stuff that they don't, just to take care of, like any other billionaire. Well, actually, I don't really know any other billionaires aside from.
I don't think I know like 2 of them,
Samoan,
let alone 1.
Do we have a Samoan billionaire? I don't think so. No,
Okay.
we don't. Yeah, we don't.
The Rock, man.
The Rock might, yeah.
Oh, Uncle, I didn't know we made millions of dollars. Oh.
Yeah, I'll go, man.
I was practicing.
I would just do the minimum, man. Just pay the minimum and hope that you get them off your back.
Okay. What about you, John?
Now, okay, so it depends on the Matai. If it was a Matai that my dad respected, right? Say, because, my dad comes from Sidi Osenga, and, there's a lot of Matais in Sidi Osenga. And so, say it was a Matai that my dad respected, and something happened, because the funny thing is the running joke right now is that if you're from Manua, we're all related. All related. Whether you're from Ka'u, Ofu, we're all related. And so, that's why Fatsu, it's my cousin. But, there's quite a few Matais in Manua. And if it was somebody that my dad looked highly to, worked well with, and I can confirm it, yeah. If I have it, you ask. Because you asking me is the same as you asking my father. My father would be in my shoes. And I would, yeah, sure.
Got you. Analogy.
If it was somebody I knew personally, a Makai that I dealt with personally, then I would probably give a little more, because I am a representation of my father. Regardless of my own deeds, it will always be to reflect him. When it comes to Fa'asamoa, I do so in the name of him. I carry his name. But if it was like someone that, as long as someone in my immediate family, my mom or my siblings, can establish a relationship with that person, I'm all for it. Anyone outside of them, or like say if it was someone like one of you guys, right? I consider you guys my real good friends, and if somebody in your family that meant a lot to you guys, I would. You don't even have to ask, because through you I will support them. Just the same thing as if it was someone that there was a Fa'alavelave in my brother's family, or my mom, or my other brothers, or my sister, anything involved with them, no questions asked. Because I know if my dad were here, it would be what he would do. It's my form of respect, and it will always come back to him. What would he do had it been me? And my dad was a man that it was an eye opener for me, because at his funeral, that was the one thing everyone said. My dad's been doing this since he was in his early 20s. I think at 24, he ran, he got a Matai. He was a Matai real young, and he was doing whole funerals at 24, 25 years old, and for him, it was that. And everyone kept saying the same thing. This young man, tautua, e ko anga, ko kula ainga, ko kula kungu'u, ko kula le Fa'asamoa. He does his service to family, to the village, to the Fa'asamoa as a whole. That was his thing. And for me, I didn't see it a lot, or I didn't really understand it back then because I was little. I mean, I was always running around as a kid. My dad would go to these Fa'alaves, and I would follow him around and do all these things, just do what I was told as a kid. And it was just the thing. As I'm older and I look back on it and I realize like it was all about. And I used to laugh. My mom and them used to, my dad would call it his aonga pisi. Him and his old buddies say they'd have song practice and they'd meet up at McDonald's and just gossip. And these are like everybody in Samoa with positions, either heads of state of this side or directors of this, whatever. And they're friends from high school and childhood friends. And they would just bullcrap. They would meet up at the McDonald's for breakfast and just bullcrap. And then they'd go about their day. But to him, it was like he was always in the know, trying to, where can I help out? So if I had the means and I can create a link or somebody in my circle can verify it, just tell me where to write the check and I'll send it.
How about you, T?
How about me? What?
Oh, we're gonna skip you. We're gonna skip you.
Nah,
Oh,
T,
yeah.
T's
We still in
Samoa, day
What
in,
you're
day
doing
out.
there, T?
T's like, I didn't make $1 billion by giving it away. Right.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the conditions were right and the person was respectful, and by all means, support the community, support those in need. But if I can tell that it's just a money grab and not really going to benefiting anyone except the person asking for the money, then it's a straight up no.
What about your friends?
Oh yeah, all day for the friends.
Oh man, T make $1 billion. Like, hey T, I got a Fa'alavelave going on. Me and Ati are supposed to meet up at the.
Oh yeah, sprinkle.
We're playing at that one course where it's like $250 green fee. So
Man,
500 green
oh jeez, who you playing with, homie?
but anyways, any last rounds from anyone?
Oh, I got one. When it comes to Fa'alavelave, whether you're for or against, just understand that there's the spirit. The spirit is always the good, touchy-feely. It's about love. And then there's the reality. And the reality is that something made out of love, and you said it earlier, T, can be taken advantage of. And there are people out there that will. So whether it's for or against, Fa'alavelave it's from a good place. It comes from a good place. And it is our culture. And the Samoa is not going anywhere.
That is a mic drop moment. Could you say that again after what I'm about to say?
I don't remember what I just said. It comes straight from the belly out the mouth,
man.
you know?
Samoa is always going to be there.
Yeah. So my last round is universal, but it's very out there in our community. Stop putting politics and statuses over humanity, over the people. Stop letting that drive greed and making you take physical force and being such greedy people and doing the wrong things. And if you're witnessing this happen within your village, amongst your people, and you know it's not right, come together and stand up. Stand up. I mean, if I was there with you, Mr. Fiapalangi, not knowing what the hell's going on, if I saw corruption, if I saw wrongdoing being done, I wouldn't care. I'd stand up. What the hell does that status mean to me? I don't give two damns. What I'm seeing is injustice and wrongdoing and bullying straight up for stupid reasons that we're going to put humanity on the back burner and our own freaking worry about whatever status you got going on, overlooking, the people what make your village a village, the freaking people. All right. With that being said, hit up Atimingi for your Fa'alavelave loan needs. He's our number one loan shark. Officer in those cases. Just kidding. Hey, thanks again for joining on this episode of Behind the Lava Lava. Like, comment, subscribe, share. We're on all streaming platforms. Apple, Spotify, YouTube. If we haven't heard of it yet, Michael Tan's probably already on it, and we'll be streaming on that soon enough. Also, leave us a review. Anything you want us to talk about or any comments you have, go ahead and share. We're thick skinned. We'll laugh. We'll agree. We'll cry and all that. Hey, thanks for joining us once again. It's Behind the Lava Lava. Out.